Hey, friends, I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemanda, the intuitive psychiatrist, and you're listening to Stepping into Soul Power. Friends, have you ever felt a calling so strong that ignoring it would be like abandoning a part of your soul? Today on Stepping into Soul Power, we're going to dive into a conversation about legacy,
Mm.
about building businesses with legacy. We have someone who is a powerhouse in legacy building, intuitive leadership. She embodies success. This is the founder of Empowered Leadership. She's creating a movement, empowering women to really step into their power and really do legacy on their terms. Renee Dominguez, welcome to the show.
Yay, I feel like, we need to celebrate all that, all the flowers. Thank you.
Yes, well, we want to hear from you
Yes,
because there's a story behind this movement. What
yes.
led you to want to go on this path, helping women in particular build legacy businesses?
Yes, and thank you for that question. So excited to be here. And what led me here was not your traditional path. I grew up thinking actually, let's step it back even further. I grew up thinking soon as you're 18, get out of the house, have a job so you have enough money to just pay your bills. We didn't use words like business, goals, entrepreneurship. So I created this identity of corporate Renee. And corporate Renee was really good at checking off all the boxes of what she thought success was supposed to look like. And after 20 something years of checking off boxes, successful on paper, but empty inside, I was like, what did I do wrong? Did I miss a class? Did I miss a course in college? Like, where did I make that wrong turn in Albuquerque? Like, what happened? And I was feeling defeated. Emotionally, mentally, I was in male-dominated industries where really they dictated how I was to show up as successful. And it was either, "Renee, you're too much or you're not enough. You're working
Mm,
too much, you're not working enough. Who do you think you are to apply for another job? Who said that you could do X, Y, and Z?" And I always lived my life like that by other people's expectations and their rules to
yeah.
success. And when I was going to women events, I was like, this is a safe space. I'm just going to share what I'm going through because I don't know who to talk to. And these
Mm,
women, they were also successful. They were lawyers, they were doctors, they were therapists, they were women who had a seat at the table, but not a voice at the table. And they were
mm,
all looking at me like, "What do we do?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too." And it was 8 months of random women all coming to me. None of them knew each other, all raising their hands saying, "Who do we talk to? Our decisions that we are to make are being made by others. We're successful, but we're also empty."
mm.
So I had my come to Jesus moment where I'm like, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" And that was the beginning of me creating a movement. But at that time, I didn't know that was what I was doing. I thought I was just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna pivot. I'm gonna just save my sanity, save my mental
Mm,
state of mind." And fast forward 8 years, I'm now in a place where, like, I am creating a movement where women can take back their power because I did not have any power. I had relinquished it to my male counterparts because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And now I'm so passionate about empowering women, how to take back their power. What are their gifts? What's their calling? And how can they make this into a profitable business that lives outside of them, that lives past them, that creates a legacy that leaves an imprint in the world?
wow. So much there. What really struck me, you said something. You said there were women coming to you who had a seat at the table, but not a voice at the
Yeah.
table.
Yes.
And I think it is something that's very common, but I guess for someone who has helped women navigate this path, are there practical things that women who are in that situation right now can
Yes,
do to help pivot? And
yes.
yeah, maybe we'll start there.
Yeah, no, I love that, and that gets me so fired up because it's about really advocating for ourselves. So usually there's one woman at the table and there might be 10 plus men and you're dealing with that masculine energy. So what I share with women is like when John Doe is speaking up and trying to overtake you, you can say, "John Doe, I see your passion and I hear your excitement. Can I put a pause on that? I will come back to you when I'm finished here. Does that work for you?" And you nod your head. And then John Doe's gonna be like, "Oh, okay." But now you set the tone and the precedence on how when you speak and show up, that people wanna be heard and seen, and you're just letting them know, "I see you. I see your passion," even though he may not be excited, he might be like, "You're totally wrong." You can still say, "I see your passion, and I can see and hear the excitement you have. Is it alright if I come back to you? I'm just gonna finish this what I have to say." And
Yes.
that's how they have their voice at the table.
Okay, okay. So it sounds like it's a practical communication maneuver where they validate. Because I'm a psychiatrist. I like to go back to it like this. Okay, you're like validating that person,
Yeah.
um, and you're speaking your piece, and then you return to them.
Yes, and I love that you said that. You're keeping the peace within you because we can really like, "Oh, no, he's angry, others are gonna agree." We get all these stories in our head within milliseconds, and our body and our nervous system could shut down, but when we have the words and the cadence on how to say what we wanna say, we
Yes.
stand in our power. We don't shut down. We don't shrink because we know how to navigate through that treacherous waters because that's what happens. And that's why women who have a seat at the table don't have a voice. They just weren't taught what language to use.
I see. I see. So very specific language, communication styles, in order to
Yeah.
help amplify their voice. You
Yeah,
know,
but then
I
also going back to this topic, that's
yeah,
also them creating a legacy because now they're teaching others. So if there's another woman who's coming in, she's gonna model what she just saw. And that's also a legacy because that's living, that's letting you make a difference that's going to outlive you because it's gonna pass on to the next person and to the next person.
you say that word, legacy. So that's the word I'm thinking about. Um, there are many ways to look at it. There are some people with legacy, it's about what you achieve. And then there's also a legacy of who you become. Help me understand what your idea of legacy is.
Yeah, my definition of legacy is doing something that is bigger than you. So for that corporate woman who is leading by example and allowing others to model and emulate her, she's leaving a legacy of what it looks and sounds like to be a powerful woman in your position. As a business owner, your legacy is the same thing, but in your business, you are advocating and mentoring others to do something that they couldn't do on their own. And because of that, that trickle effect that gets to get passed on to one person to another another. So it's making a difference outside of our current circumstances that live beyond us.
Okay. Okay. A difference that lives beyond us. There's a difference between a soul aligned calling and then an ego driven goal. And how do you help people kind of navigate that? Because I can imagine that um, the the consequences are different for depending on which one you follow.
Yeah, that's a great point that most women don't realize if they don't know because they weren't taught. I'm speaking for myself because I didn't know either, where it was my ego and my pride that I'm like, "I'm gonna do this," hence the check boxes. "I'm gonna get this degree, and then I'm gonna go get this degree, and I'm gonna get this certification, I'm gonna get another certification." And I just kept going round and round collecting paperwork.
Yes.
that wasn't making a difference for me, but I was very ego driven, thinking this would make a difference. But when I started to tap into my soul's purpose, I was like, oh, it's not about collecting paperwork. It's actually about executing my special gifts that I didn't even know I had. I thought honestly, and this is the honest to God's truth, when God was assigning gifts, I got skipped because I didn't grow up hearing, Renee, you're good at this. Renee,
Mm,
oh, you excel at this. Oh, Renee, these are your superpowers. These are your gifts. I didn't grow up hearing any of that. So I didn't think I had any skills or gifts. So I spent most of my life thinking like, well, I had to produce them because I wasn't given any naturally.
mm,
Now I know I was, but it just took 20 something years for me to get them dialed in and identified. And now that I'm soul aligned, I'm like, oh, it's not about the pursuit of paperwork. It's about the pursuit of my gifts that make a difference for others. What my gifts are is I'm able to see what others are not able to see and how to create success with ease. And because it's with ease, I'm gonna tell you, people will resist it. They say they want it, but they will resist it because their nervous system only knows anxiety, knows stress, it knows
yes.
burnout. If it's easy, then it's not right. But so that's a whole different topic, of course.
You said that there are a couple of really important things that you said, and I just keep going back to you. You stopped and then really looked to see, like, okay, well, what are my gifts? What's my soul's purpose, right?
Yeah.
And there are not a lot of instructions for that. So I
Yeah.
guess can you can you give our listeners a little taste of like, okay, well, what does that look like? Like, how might they start that process?
Yeah, and then that's where I have my tagline. I create transformations in 20 minutes or less. A transformation could be an aha moment. It could be a self-awareness. It could be that block that they've been stuck on for years. And my gift is I hear someone and their words have energy.
Yes.
And then with their energy, I see words. And then with the words, I'm able to see the picture behind the word. Hence why I'm able to create transformations in 20 minutes or less. So an example is I was speaking to someone who has been stuck really allowing her business to flourish. It's always been like a struggle. And she's been struggling for 6 years. And she's hired coaches. She's been in masterminds. She's been in programs, and none of them have helped her. Within
Yeah.
12 minutes, because I timed it, within 12 minutes, she's like crying. And she's like, you gave me not only permission, but access to what I already had within me that I didn't know to unleash not just myself, but my business, to scale it, to be on stages, to really allow myself the permission to live the lifestyle I want to live. And my business will allow me access to do that. And it was just hearing her, I was able to quickly identify, oh, if you just do this, this, and this, and then go and do that, she was able to do it right away. And then it was like, oh, how come no one else was able to see this? How come no one else was able to identify where I was stuck? But it was her words. It was the language she used. I get words. People get feelings. Some
Yeah.
people get different ways, different hits. Mine, I get a word. And with that word, I'm able to unpack it as we continue to talk. And
Yes.
like, yeah, that's not something you could read in a book. And like, how to unlock this superpower. Like, there's no book. It came from just doing it and getting feedback from people. And then I was like, "Oh, is this a gift? Is this a superpower? Is this something like, can I like say I can do this? Cause that's a pretty bold statement, a transformation in 20 minutes or less. Like, who says that and who can do it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can." And then that's where it allowed me like, let's create success with ease. Let's fast track. Let's collapse timelines. Let's create a legacy that makes a difference because we want our lives to stand for something. All our struggles, our opportunities, our obstacles, we don't want them to be for nothing. We want them to stand on something and be seen and be highlighted and have the spotlight on them so others can see what's available and also what they can do too.
I see. So it sounds like you're using your intuitive gifts in order to help through like your transformation sessions in order to help people figure out what their
Yeah,
gifts
and then I
are.
really like to say, like, I guide them just
Okay.
like you. I guide them. It's all within them. I'm like, you got all the pieces. I'm just helping you guide how to put the pieces together. I'm not giving you any extra pieces. You already have them. And how special is that to be able to have someone say to you, everything you need is already within you. You don't need to go source anything else. It's already there.
Yes, yes, and as you've worked with women, can you speak to hidden beliefs or even generational patterns that you feel like have been sabotaging their purpose or leadership?
Yes, a lot of the clients I work with are first generations. First generation to get a degree, a first generation to hit six figures, first generation to be a business owners. And so they have limiting beliefs. Can I do this? Because no one else has done it. No one else in my family has done it. They have no one to model and emulate. So they face these imposter syndromes that come up because they're like, who do I follow? My family's telling me I can't do it. They're telling me I'm crazy. They're telling me go find something secure and safe. You're going to be broke. You're going to be homeless. Like they go to the extreme. But what I love that I get to share now is like you get to be the first, you get to show them what is possible.
Mm.
And you also get that's part of the legacy is now that you're the first, someone gets to be the second, someone gets to be the third, someone gets to be the fourth. But we got to repackage it on we don't let other people's limitations dictate our success, dictate what we are capable of. And so we really got to have that strong barrier, that boundary around us where like this is when they say something negative to me, it's not about me. It's about their fears. And I get to choose, do I wanna take on their fears as my own, or do I wanna hold space for them and say, like, "I hear you, and I'm gonna show you how it can be."
I see, I see. And so what do you tell women to tell their families or spouses and they're like, as be like, what are you doing? What
Yeah, and every situation is different, right? But, like, even in my own situation, I'm thankful that I have a partner, spouse who's like, "What you do, I couldn't do, but I
Mm,
love watching you do it." And then with others, like with my clients, they all have that scenario what you just had explained. And so for each one, it's different, but in a broad statement, like I was saying earlier, I'm going to show you what is possible. Let's say it's a partner who's like, don't do that, which that happens a lot. Don't do that. We can't afford it. And
yep.
I'm like, you are an investment. You are an ROI. You are not a debt. And it's about reframing that language. If someone sees you as a debt, that's a different conversation. But if they see you as an investment, that what you're doing is an investment, it's like buying stocks. We don't put money into our stocks or into investments and say like, oh, I'm going to throw my money away. We're saying like, no, we're going to get an ROI from it. So when you can show up as you are the ROI, it's a game changer. I was talking to someone earlier this week and I used that phrase for her. You're not a debt. You're an ROI. You are an investment. She stood up taller. I literally saw her body language change. She stood up taller. She raised her head and she's like, yeah, I am.
Wow. Wow. I want to ask about this process because I can imagine that, that building a business, there are lots of ups and downs, ups and downs.
Oh,
Are
yes.
there, yeah.
I had to take a deep breath because yes, there is, sister. Yes, there is.
Yeah. So I guess, how do you prepare women for, these waves of things that happen. Like right now, we've got tariffs, we've got like there's a lot going on. So what do you tell women
Yes. Oh,
to
that is
come up?
such a great question. So I had this scenario happen a few weeks ago where I was part of putting on an event and everything that could go wrong went wrong. And the people who paid a lot of money to attend were complaining and they were seeing the negative and they were making it all about them. And so I went on video. I posted a video to the group and I said, Each and every one of you have a front row seat to a master on how to show up and persevere when everything is going against you. I want you all to take notes. I want you all to take notes and like, what are you seeing? What are you observing? What would you have done different? What do you recommend? And provide that feedback at the end.
Yes.
Shifted everyone's mindset from, oh my gosh, how could you do this to me? To like, oh, how can I help make this better? They felt like now they were vested into what was happening, and now they had a different mindset. So it's about how do we reframe? And I'm really good at that. How can we reframe a situation when everything possibly could go wrong? And you know what also changed? Is that they all came together. They're like, "We're in this
Interesting.
together," versus everyone was out for the ego. Everyone was out for themselves and, like, trying to find a way out of this because everything was going wrong. They all, like, locked up arms virtually, and then in person when we got together, they all locked arms and said, "We're getting through this together." And it created new bonds, new friendships, but the key is to not try. The key is to not pursue anything bigger than you alone. Success is not meant to be created alone. You're not meant to figure it out alone. You're not meant to create it alone. You're meant to do it in community. And that truly, I truly believe that is a key to success. It is a path to success. When you try to do it alone, you have all the stories that are in front of you holding you back. You have your nervous system holding you back. You have your fears that are holding you back. And when you're so in it, it's like that phrase, you cannot see the forest beyond the trees.
Yes.
You need someone who could see that bigger picture. And someone like you, someone like me, that's where we come in. We help them see the bigger picture and put the pieces together and then help them reframe that story that they're telling themselves.
Such an important point that success is meant to be done in community.
Mhm.
Uh, what what I'm thinking about is, hmm, who's in that community? Like, who do you want to be in that community? Like, how do you decide who's in there, who's not? How do you create a community that is supportive of what you're doing?
Yeah. So for me, I'm just going to use me as an example. It's my messaging, it's the words I use, it's the energy I project. People get to self vet themselves. Is she my people or is she not? And that's what I want them to do because that gives them power and authority over themselves. Is she for me or is she not? And if she is, then I want to know more. They'll lean in, they'll ask more questions. But my community is about legacy, purpose driven women. Are you purpose driven? And do you want to create a business that outlives you or is it just for profit? If it's just for profit, that's great. But then that's not my people. But my community is about women who I'm going to say badass women who are the first. And they're doing it scared, but they're doing it. And the community is so important. And I asked each and every one of them, what do you find the most value in this community? And they say, I'm not alone. And I'm not the only one who has these fears or these struggles. I get to hear each others' stories and knowing that they also hold space for me and they're there to see what I can't see as well. And so women will stay on the call for 90 minutes once a week because they want to all hear about what each other is doing and support each other. And that's community.
Okay. Okay. You said purpose driven women rather than just profit, right? Are there particular signs where where you've counseled women, you've worked with women that they were out of alignment with their purpose?
Yes. Mm, that's a good question. And I'm not going to say they were out of alignment because it's a journey.
Okay.
And and you've been saying it, and I love it. We're evolving, we're growing, we're changing. So just because you have one idea does not mean that that was out of alignment. It just meant that that was to get you to where you were meant to go. So I like to say it's like a GPS. It's not a straight line to where you want to go. There's turns, there's ups and there's downs, there's the hills. We got to go around the mountain. We have to go around the cliff. We're zigzagging. And that's what life is. So it's not always being out of alignment. It's like, oh, this was part of the journey. I had to pick up that experience so that I can go further ahead in my journey. But without that experience, that learned lesson, I couldn't move past go. Let's say that. And so, but also on the flip side, being out of alignment is it ego driven? Am I only focused on the numbers? Numbers are important. Don't get me wrong, numbers are important, but when we follow purpose, the numbers will follow. But I was all about the numbers since corporate Renee. She was all about the money. She created success beyond her wildest dreams and couldn't have been more miserable. But I thought that was my purpose. Corporate Renee, show my family what was possible. But I was miserable. I was never present. I was physically there, but I was not present. I wasn't mentally there. And so when we're driven by ego, it's like, am I getting excited or am I getting stressed out? And if I'm being driven by ego, am I about forcing others to do what's not possible or am I empowering them to try new things? Some of the best inventions came through so-called failures. So like, let's break things and let's see what we can make.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like mindset, attitude, those things are important, and it sounds like it's a ongoing process.
Well, yeah, life's a journey, it's about like, how can we have fun on the journey? Because, like you said, business is hard, and there's going to be good days and there's bad days, and we have so much going on in our climate right now, where more women, specifically women, are stepping in, saying like, "I'm not gonna create my success by other people's expectations anymore. I'm gonna now do it on my terms." And what does that look like? What does that sound like? What does that feel like? There's really a global movement for women who are saying like, I'm going to break the status quo. I am going to break the rules and rewrite the rules for me and my success. And then I'm going to bring others along with me because it's more fun to do it in community. And that's also part of the movement is that rally cry that we get to be successful and happy at the same time. We get to be spiritually full. We get to be emotionally full. We get to be physically full. We get to live life on our terms. But that could also be scary.
Yes, yes. I love that, like success on your terms, and really following your passion. I wonder for our audience, how can they get in contact with you?
Yes, I started this new community. Well, they can follow me on Instagram. It's called Corporate Dropouts. Corporate Dropouts is just not about dropping out of corporate. It's about dropping out of the status quo, dropping out of what society says that you could be, who you could be, how you could show up. It's really rewriting the rules to success. And I created this free community. It's on schoolskool.com. And it's called Corporate Dropouts. It's free. And I'm giving women the tools that I given my high ticket $50,000 clients the same access. And I'm giving it away for free because I want women to have the resources. I don't want them to have anything in their way that says, if only, if only someone believed in me, if only I had enough money, if only I had enough time. I'm giving them the tools on how to create self-mastery for themselves. Because when they have self-mastery around themselves, then things are possible. And then when they finish that, I then give them access to business foundations. If they want to start a business, everything they need to know to start a business. And I'm telling you, it's not the website, it's not your colors, it's not your fonts, and everyone thinks that's what it is, and it's not. That is not what people are buying into. They're buying into you, but you need to understand
Yes.
what grounds am I building my empire on.
Oh, I love it. Foundation.
Yes.
Yes. Energy, like the energy that you putting out, your presence is
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
Renee Dominguez, it has been a pleasure having you
Mm,
on. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
mm. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
If you haven't heard it yet today, I appreciate you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. If you'd like to see more episodes like this, please subscribe or click here. And friends, if this spoke to you, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.